In this video, we'll take a look at how the course appears in Blackboard and where you go to find different types of information. So I've logged into the university portal and I click on the Blackboard button in the Launchpad over here, this BB button, and it takes me to my home page for Blackboard. I go over to my courses. You'll see I have got lots of my old courses saved that I just keep as copies. We find the right course for this semester. That's EHD 510, Intro to Educational Research, Fall 2019. That's us. So I click on that and it opens it up. Now notice one thing is mine shows student preview mode is on up here. That's just so that it looks more like what you will actually see rather than what I see as the instructor. And let's go through the different sections that we'll be using in this course. To start with, over here on the left, we have our menu bar, and this is where we select the different content areas that we're looking for. At the top, we have announcements, and here we see the first of our announcements posted that is just welcoming you to class. Announcements are very important. This is where you're going to see things like about some additional reading material, some changes to a quiz, or maybe something's being added to a quiz, or office hours, whether we're canceling office hours or whether we may be in our office that day if people want to stop by and see us. So definitely check the announcements for any good information. We will typically send these out to you as an email as well, but again, it's good just to get in the habit of going through the announcements and seeing if you've missed anything important. Then we have a section for course material, and there's several different subsections within here. The first, course content, is where you'll probably spend the most time in the course. And it has the main course content folder and then several subfolders. Here's the copyright statement that just, copyright boilerplate stuff. Copies of the syllabus for both my section and Chifen's section. And again, they're basically the same other than our contact information and office hours. And then you see a series of folders labeled Week 1, Week 2, and they'll go on to cover the entire semester. Each of these folders contain everything you need in order to smoothly move along at the pace that we've set out in our proposed schedule in the course syllabus. Right now you only see 2 weeks, but every week we're going to slowly unveil the rest of the semester, probably about 2 weeks at a time. So in other words, about halfway through the semester, all of the weeks for the entire semester should be available. That way, if you want to get ahead, you can. You can finish early if you would like, but it still keeps us a little constrained that we don't end up getting too spread out across the course where we have students working on all sorts of different chapters and material at the same time. And our reasoning for that is we want to stay to some degree together just so that we're able to have good conversations and good discussions and interact well as a group, as a class, as a community, rather than just everybody in a free-for-all working on their own. Then at the bottom you'll see there's the City IRB training instructions and submissions. And one of the assignments that you'll see is that we need to complete the IRB training for this course. And this folder contains links to a video on how to access the IRB training, as well as a handout that kind of summarizes accessing the IRB training and the form where you submit your PDF of your training certificate once you've completed that. So let's actually open up one of these weekly folders, because again, these are great things, and it's organized in a way to really hopefully make things easy to stay caught up, not get lost, not get too far behind, not get behind at all, hopefully. And you'll see at the very top of each week's folder, we have what to do this week. And it's even color-coded a little bit. That we have in blue, these are the new videos and readings that you should be doing this week. So we see for week 1, we're telling you should be reading chapter 1 and 2. And here's some videos that you should be watching in week 1. Prisoners of Silence video, we talk about that briefly in the syllabus video, as well as some videos that review chapters 1 and 2. Now I want to point out, just because you read chapter 1 and 2 and it made sense, don't skip the videos, because some of these videos include material that is not included in the readings, yet we think are important, and it may appear on the quizzes. So do not skip the videos, even if the chapters made complete sense. You may learn new things that we're expecting you to be able to answer on quizzes. Then, we don't see it this week, but you'll have a highlighted red bold section that talks about what's due that week that you need to be working on. And it's in red and bright and bold, just to make sure you remember that whatever's there is due that Friday by 11:59 p.m., so you can't miss it. Then in green at the bottom, we have new things you should start this week. And this includes stuff that you've done the readings for, you're ready to actually start working on, even if it's not due yet. So for example, this week, you could start working on assignment 1. It's not due this week. It's due on, we can see over here, it's due on September 13th, but there's no reason for you not to do it right now. Same with the form for the bios and background information. That's due on 9/13. It's not due yet, but there's no reason you can't do it yet. Assignment 2 you could start working on. You've watched the Prisoners of Silence video, so you might as well complete the little reflection paper on that. And chapter 1 through 4 forum, you can start to post in those because you've already read chapters 1 and 2, so why not start to make some posts in those, even though they're not due yet. Then below that, we have more specific links for this information. So the introduction and overview videos. Here's where you get links to the videos. Now, you'll notice those are all the same link at the moment. And it's the wrong one because we haven't posted them yet. We're still obviously working on those. But here's where we have links to those videos. The Prisoners of Silence. Here's a little description about it and links to those videos. Chapter 1 videos. Let's scroll down a little more. Here's the links to the Chapter 1 videos. And also a link to printable slides. I'm going to actually click on that and see. It opens up. Here are slides for those videos. Pretty cool. We've made them available for you to go along. So you don't, to help you with notes. So when you're watching the Chapter 1 videos, first print off the slides that you can save. Chapter 2 videos. Here's the Chapter 2 videos. And here then is a link to a printable version of those slides. See, we're just trying to make this easy and clean for you. Notice they're all in blue again because these are the new things you definitely should be working on this week based on our proposed schedule. You can always go faster if you like and get ahead into Chapter 2. That's great. But try not to fall behind. Then if anything was due this week, we would see that appearing in bold red. But there's not anything due the first week. And then here's links to the green things that you should be working on. So again, this is a link that'll take you to assignment 1, the short bio, a link that'll take you to the form for posting on the bios and backgrounds. Remember, that's just very simple, very straightforward, talking about introducing yourself to the class, as we discussed a little bit in the other video. And then a link for the prisoners where you can enter your reflection piece on the Prisoners of Silence, and a link to the forum for discussion, for the discussion on chapters 1 through 4. So everything you need for week 1 is right there. You can't get lost, can't get confused. It's labeled week 1. This is week 1. Here's what you should be working on. It's even color-coded to help keep things straight and clear. What more could you ask for? Let's look at week 2, and you see it's the same thing. For week 2, the week starting September 9th, here's the readings you should be doing. Here's the videos you should be watching. Notice now we have things that are due this Friday, 9/13. The assignment 1 and the forum for the bios and backgrounds. We have an additional reading here, this CNN piece about Maya Angelou that's kind of cool, and actually has some research implications that you'll see. Kind of so additional readings to make sure you click on and see you can download. Let's click on the attached file and see it opens it up right there. Again, boy, we're trying to make things straightforward for you. Here's a link to the Chapter 3 videos, a link to those slides, a link to another video on, finding research articles online, a video on citation and impact factors, and this will make more sense after you've read the chapters, and a link on talking about the difference between journals, research articles, and all in the context of the New England Patriots and Tom Brady. So that'll hopefully make a little sense to you on a topic people get a little confused about at times. Then, as I said before, here's in big red, this is what's due this week. Make sure by Friday at 11:59 p.m. you've done the Assignment 1 short bio and the bios and backgrounds form. And then here's other things you can be working on this week. You've done there's no reason you can't get ahead of the curve and start working on those. So let's go back. That's week 2. And again, right now you can only see week 1 and week 2, but next week you'll see week 3 and week 4, and then the week after that you should see 5 and 6 as well. And again, we'll slowly unroll the whole semester, so about halfway through the semester, everything will be there for you to work on. And again, we're trying just to keep the group a little bit together, that we're able to have discussions. And talking about the discussions, then we have our second link over here is the discussion forums. And here's where these are graded, so you want to do them, where we have class discussions. And we don't want this just to be one of the problems with online courses is sometimes they just all turn into independent study and there's no interaction among the students. So we really take these forums seriously and want them to be a way of the class interacting with each other, students interacting with each other. And the forums are, as I've said, most of these are being graded, and it's all spelled out in the syllabus and here. So here's the bio and background forum. It's worth 5 points, and it's due, as we've already seen, it's due September 13th at 11:59. And all you need to do here is you log in, you post a little statement about what's your program area. You're just introducing yourself. What's your program area? Are you working on a master's or non-thesis or thesis or non-degree maybe, or a doctorate, whatever you're working on, your plans after graduation, and one fun fact about you that's not school related. We've had things about people loving to be a chef, to coaching teams, to loving travel, whatever, something about you that's not school related that people might find interesting. And then we have the forums for each chapter, and we talked about this a little bit in the syllabus and in the syllabus review video. So the forum number 1 is talking about chapters 1 through 4. Here's where you click, you open this forum to start posting your thoughts about content related to chapters 1 through 4. And as we spelled out early in the other videos in the syllabus, for 4 chapters, we'd expect you to do about half a dozen, about 6 posts. And we don't want one giant long post that covers all the chapters, because again, the purpose of this is to spur discussion among each other. So we'd much rather you do less work, but post 6 separate postings that might be a paragraph, might be several sentences, talking about something related to the chapters or the videos, or something that you've seen on the news that's somehow related to the readings, or something you've read somewhere else or discussed in a different class. Anything that's somehow related to this material that may be, to get a conversation going, that you want to share, or that you've observed or had some reaction to, based again on the readings or any related stuff. Also, you don't have to always do it, but try to respond to each other's posts. But it'd be kind of boring if this just turned into everybody posting 6 things and nobody's talking to each other. Respond to each other. Kind of, what did you think of this? Or did someone say something that you had some reaction to, or looking for feedback or providing feedback. Try to engage. Those are the best conversations that we have here. And that's what we're shooting for with these. So here's the forum for chapters 1 through 4, chapters 5 through 8, chapters 9 through 12, chapters 13 through 16, and then the last is only 3 chapters, 17 through 19. And again, we expect you to post, each of these are worth 11 points, so the total is 5 for the bios plus 5 of these, 5 points for the bios and background, short little one, and then these 5 discussion forums about the chapters are each worth 11 points, so a total of 60 points. And again, we expect you to post we expect you to post 6 discussions per each of these forums, and we at least make them substantive. We don't want just to say ditto or I agree. That doesn't count. It needs to be some meaningful contribution, not just I agree. So then there's also 3 additional forums that we should mention. These last 3 are not graded. One is news. And again, because we're online asynchronous course, we don't get a chance to talk to each other and just share live events. So here's a place you can do that. We've had students enter all sorts of things just to, again, build that class community where students have announced they're getting married, they're buying a house, they just had a grandchild or a child, that sort of stuff. It's just a great way of sharing things that you'd normally share with your classmates. Then there's a general discussion forum, and this can be anything that's related to, anything that fall outside the range of the other forums. Here's we've had students start conversations about working on their thesis or their dissertation, or issues that have come up in their schools or whatever, any sort of general discussion. Again, things you might talk about in a live classroom. And then here's Ask a Librarian. Here's where you can, this final one is monitored by the campus, off-campus library services. I need to change this. Our contact person is no longer Shiva. But I'll change that before we soon. But this is monitored by off-campus library services as a way of directly contacting them if there's some issue with some of the library resources, like the search engines that you'll be reading about shortly. So those are the discussions. We take this very seriously because we want this to be an interactive community of learners rather than just a few dozen people working independent studies. Then we have the tests and quizzes. Right now we'll have a total of 10 quizzes that you'll be doing. And right now you can only see quiz 1 because we will, kind of similar to the course content, where we have the weekly folders, we will steadily be unfolding these quizzes over the course of the semester as we've opened up the course content for those. We'll also then open up the corresponding quizzes that go to these. So you'll notice these steadily appearing. If you get ready for one and you for some reason don't see it, let us know and we'll make sure it's available for you. But you'll see these all 10 slowly appearing over the next over the first half of the semester, really. And again, you can see here's the due date, October 11th. So as we talk about in the syllabus video, we've built ample lead time. You should be completing this quiz well before October 11th. Get ahead of the curve. Don't chase those deadlines, or else you can be in trouble at the end. Assignments folder. Here's where there's the 5 assignments that we're doing this semester. So you see links to each of those with the due dates for each of them when they're closing at 11:59 on those dates. And again, this is described in the syllabus and on the video for the course syllabus. And then course documents is the last folder that we really will work with. And here's where you'll see other documents that we'll be sharing with you over the course of this semester. So for example, we saw we could directly access that Maya Angelou article from the course content from that week's folder in the course content section. But here's another copy of it under course documents if you are looking for it. and then templates for both assignment 4 and assignment 5 that you can access as well. Here's where we'll post additional readings that we will almost certainly bring up over the course of the semester for you to include in your reading with the various chapters. So this is how we're laid out in Blackboard. Here's where all the main content that you'll be working with are the announcements and these 5 folders that we've seen. Again, we've tried to structure it so that it's very organized, very easy to stay on task, stay up to date. The course content, take these weekly folders seriously. If you move along at the pace that we're outlining in those those week 1, week 2 course content folders, you'll be fine when it comes to the end of the semester. That doesn't mean that you can't go faster. We encourage you to get ahead a couple weeks if you can. Give yourself a little cushion in case something happens. But it's all set up to give you a nice steady pace. You just open each one. It tells you what you should be doing this week. Everything's even color-coded to here's the blue, the new stuff you need to be working on, the red stuff that's due, and the green stuff that you could be working on even though it's not due yet. So that summarizes how the course is laid out on Blackboard. We hope you find it helpful and useful. And if you have questions, let Shifen or me know. Okay, thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.